What's up, baby? This is Deontay the Bronze Rumble Wilder. Make sure you tap into Black Authentic Truth for your latest news. It's great information, baby. Bomb Squad!
Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. There's a lot of history. You know, every month they do Black History. They got Juneteenth. But there's nothing like Black Authentic Truth than what you get in ICBK. You want to make sure you subscribe to Black Authentic Truth. The reason why is because we actually give you the truth that correlates with historical information and it incorporates with the Bible as well. You want to know why they don't have an answer for our condition in slavery? Because they don't bring the Bible. Black Authentic Truth marries Black history with the Bible, gives you the correct information. Make sure you subscribe to Black Authentic Truth for the proper information. Shalom.
Tariq Nasheed right here in Los Angeles, making it do what it do, man. Y'all check out Black Authentic Truth. Get some real good games on YouTube. Black Authentic Truth, man. Check it out, man. Real good information.
Man, you know what's going on. It's your boy Geechee Gotti. I'm rocking with Black Authentic Truth. You want to learn something? Tune in, man. Get your knowledge up. Get your history up, man. Know about something, man. You know what time it is, man. Geechee Gotti, Black Authentic Truth, man. Like and subscribe.
Black man, I have an obligation to my race of people, not to no other race or no other nationality, just to black people.
And you have always hated us. We have loved you consistently for 400 years. We prayed to that white Jesus, and we saluted your flag, and we died in your militaries, and you beat us like dogs.
This is Black Authentic Truth. Hey, what's good with y'all? What's good with y'all, man? Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for supporting me. Listen, FBA, who is your enemy? That's the topic today. All right, and let me just do a couple of things. I want to share this video. Y'all just bear with me. We're gonna go for about 40 minutes to an hour. We definitely gonna get it in, okay? Y'all just bear with me. Let me just share this. Let me see. Yeah, we good on the audio. That's always a good thing. The last couple of weeks, I've been having an issue with the audio, wanting to turn it, go mute on its own. I said, that's the devil. That's the devil. That's the real enemy. They trying to stop my life. It's a conspiracy. I was about to partner with NBC. I appreciate everybody for rocking with me though. On a serious note, right? Let's see. Share this. We live now. Live now. Okay, one more. Share it on the Facebook. Right. All right, we're good to go. Good to go. So I'm gonna just start off by asking everybody, how is your Sunday going? Your Sunday morning, your Sunday afternoon? We had 10:18. As always, Black people time. I was supposed to start at 10 o'clock. I'm at 10:18. Hey, how you doing, Sister Kapai? Baratanawan? You know what I mean? Let me turn this down. I think the music is still playing. I said I'm going to I can monitor it now. I'm just gonna put the ear piece in the ear and just be able to monitor that way instead of asking brothers and sisters, hey, give me a one if the audio is right. But that, I do have to pay attention to the comments, right? Because that's how it went the last time I was live. I didn't know, I was just talking and someone told me, hey, it ain't no sound, bro. So I appreciate that. So, you know, we're going to get into the topic. This is a hot topic, a phenomenon right now. And I'll just say what I'm going to say. That's going to be the last thing I go into. But I was just thinking, about, damn, I can't even do nothing like this. You know how you do, naturally I'm like this, I'm making points like this. People be like, look, that's the Illuminati. That brother, he doing hand signs. But yeah, I was just thinking about, everything that's coming out with Epstein. I just recently seen something where, with Jay-Z, I seen a video with Jay-Z sitting at the table with Weinstein. And he just looked like a giddy, goofy blonde. You know what I mean? Like it didn't even look like the Jay-Z I knew. He looked like a kid that was just happy to be in the presence of these men, right? They were sitting at a table at a dinner. It's a video. You could go look it up. I'm not making this up because, you know how you got black people that idolize these celebrities like they're gods on earth when they're just people like you and me. But I was thinking about all of the horrible, demonic things that are coming out that is being said about what was going on with not just Epstein, but with all of these people that are supposed to be on this list, with all of these people that these heads of state, these politicians, these actors, actresses, leaders from other countries. And I was thinking about all of that stuff they were saying about torture, drinking blood, unaliving children. I don't think I can say it, but doing sexual essaying children. Like it's out of this world. Like you realize the world, and I've already known this. I've known this since 2008. But many people are coming to grips with the world that they live in is a wicked, wicked place. And it's all scripted. It's not what they thought it was, right? When you're looking at these people that are supposed to be leaders of countries and politicians, and they wear suits and ties, and they talking about justice and all of that and standing for America, when they are blood drinking, demonic people. But that doesn't faze us. Like brothers and sisters that know who we are according to history and according to the Bible and the truth, we know who the wicked is. And if you could, like, for the things that I've learned that happened in slavery, when people say things that are going on in the world, like the Epstein files, it's not surprising to me. It's not surprising to me. In fact, the plantation was the first Epstein Island. That was the first Epstein Island. When you talk about torturing slaves, maiming slaves, the cruelty, the evil, the pain our ancestors went through, the horrors they went through, the rapings that Black women went through, and then having other visiting white slave owners do the same thing. The plantation was the Epstein Island. That's facts. The plantation was Epstein's Island. You don't think they was doing that to little Black children? Go look at the movie called Goodbye, Uncle Tom. It's free on YouTube. Go look at the movie, and they show you, excuse me, they show you them, and this is a little graphic for your ears. I'm just going to warn you. They show you them oiling up the little boys, the little girls, oiling them up, dressing them nice, having the boys dance in a sexually suggestive manner in front of white men. They show you that in Goodbye Uncle Tom. It's free on YouTube. It's an old movie. They also show you, which we're going to get into, that part of that FBA thing. They show you the difference between the slaves that had got there, and then you had the Gadites, the North American Indians, the indigenous slaves that they had too. They show you they have one caged up, an older native Indian woman, and showing you there's two dark-skinned races, one that is indigenous to America and another that came from the west coast of Africa, who in fact are the real Israelites, who are in fact are the real Jews, according to history. If you really did your research and found out the traditions and the, even the Hebrew that many of the tribes spoke, excuse me, that were kidnapped, that were prisoners of war, that were put on slave ships by native Hamitic people. I say Hamitic because there's a difference, Hamitic versus Shemitic black people. You would know that these people are the children of God. These people that came to North, South, Central America, the Caribbean islands. That's going to go. I'm going to go back into that too later on. Okay. Yes, that's correct, Aaron. So yeah, with that now, the other night I woke up in the middle of the night. I went to sleep kind of early, had a good dinner, and my rib made some chocolate chip cookies, you know what I'm saying? So I popped up out of my coma to go to sleepwalk and go back to the stove and give me another cookie. And as I'm sitting there, the new Tyler Perry movie was on. So I didn't watch the movie, but I seen it from I guess the middle of the movie to the end. Let me tell you, that movie is garbage. That new Tyler Perry movie with Joe Goes Over Town. What's the name of it? Let me see real quick. Tyler Perry's Joe's College Road Trip. So I guess it's Uncle Joe, one of the characters he plays, right? And it has all of the stereotypes about black people in that movie. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I don't watch Tyler Perry movies, because back in the day, I learned that a long time ago. All of his movies were like cookie cutter. And I remember the time when Spike Lee spoke out about him, saying that, his movies are coonery, buffoonery. You know what I mean? And his movies play on all of the stereotypes of black people. And like I said, I'm seeing people talk about it online like it was good, this and that. And I think movies like that are terrible for the black community. Terrible. It puts a bad look in a bad light. Like we done went through that era already. And like we had those movies 15, 20 years ago. And now it's time for us to elevate. And you would think as black people that are in power and have the ability to cast us in any way on screen, have your own studio. I think Tyler Perry got his own land with his own studio. You would think that, we would want to put out better imagery of us. It's a shame, but this is the world you live in. This is the world we live in, where, you can't look, or you can't expect to turn on television and see a righteous black family, a black family that's nuclear, that has the father, the mother, and children. Like the time for that is past. Like you got to go back in the days. You got to go before I was born. I think you got to go to the Cosby Show and what is the show with the mother, the Jeffersons. You got to go to shows like that in order to see black people being cast in a positive light. Although they have ups and downs and problems, you see them cast in a positive light and not in a stereotypical viewpoint that how people think of us and what they say about us, the negative stuff, But that's my thoughts on that. I just wanted to tap in on that because I seen, and I wasn't going to even speak on it, but I seen that people are praising it. I seen black people online actually praising Tyler Perry's new movie, which it is just more coonery, buffoonery. It is it's not the imagery that we need for our people. It is not. You know what I mean? You would think we have elevated. Times has changed. You know what I mean? Technology, videography, cinematography, it has changed now. You would think that we could step up the level of the Black family and Black relationships. And in this one, it's a son, it's a grandson and a father, right? And the grandson is all weak and he's effeminate. It's just not a good look. The whole storyline, the plot is trash, but it's entertaining. And that goes into the things that we like to put in ourselves. Like we like to put in what you see and what you listen to goes inside goes inside your mind. And, I'll be the first one to say that, I done did it. You look at things and you can get addicted to stuff. That's why I fell back from First 48. And that was over 10 years ago that I fell back from the First 48 because it dawned on me, more than 10 years. This has got to be like 2008. It dawned on me that, damn, these people are making millions of dollars off of this show. And this show is predominantly based in Black communities. And it's exposing the inside stories of how things break down, which is interesting, I might say. But it is also taking advantage of the trauma in the Black community, the destruction in the Black community. And who's benefited from that? The people that be on them stories ain't benefiting from that. They're not getting paid from that. Who is behind the scenes making all of this money off of the trauma of Black people, telling the story of Black people? So that made me fall back from First 48 in anything like that. Now, I will watch some shows, every now and then of, how white people do each other, because it's something that's refreshing, because the first time you ever seen anything talked about with crime was with Black people. First 48. Now they have a whole channel dedicated to the crime and the murders and all that stuff that white people do. But yeah, we the number one criminals. Crazy, right? Pa said, I will forever skip Tyler Perry. Yeah, Tyler Perry movies are cookie cutter. They're cookie cutter movies. They do not serve. They don't serve our community. They don't cast Black people in a positive light. There's a lot of positive stuff going on in the world with Black people. There's a lot of positive stuff going on with Black people right in the hood in America, but it's not talked about. And I wish that it was, somebody on that level that can tell those type of stories. Tell a story of a Black man and a Black woman sticking through thick and thin with their family, going through ups and downs and coming out on top. Well, shit, I might write a movie. Like, we don't have any example. Like, it's always a broken family, something dysfunctional. We got enough of that. Don't y'all agree we got enough of that bullshit? Excuse my language, but don't y'all agree we got enough of the negativity that cast us in a negative light? Oh my goodness. Some of them scenes is just terrible in that movie. Terrible. There's a scene where they're in a whole whorehouse with a madam, and they're all Black women. And they're in there, having intercourse. Excuse me. It's just, good night. We got to do that to each other. And like I said, the grandson is effeminate, so he falls in love with one of the prostitutes that's in the house. It's like, bro, it doesn't make any sense to entertain ourselves with that. We should be tired of it. Or else what is really happening is that we are not growing as a people. You're not growing if that's what you want to feed yourself all day for. Tyler Perry been making movies for a long time, but you want to feed yourself with that type of stuff. The powers that be will allow us to do that. They'll push that out. They'll push that imagery of us. They'll pay us for the negative imagery. They'll pay us for the negative lyrics. They'll pay, Black women for the negative image of in music. They'll do that. The minute you want to speak life into your people, you want to speak unity, you want to speak positivity, that's when you ain't going to get paid. That's when you're not going to hit them numbers. So we got to recognize that this world wants us to destroy ourselves. It wants us to stay at a low level. I almost slipped and said low vibrational, and I'm not going there. But it wants us to move at a low level. It wants us to operate like that. It wants us to operate like that. You know what I mean? Because in that point, we can be them same old niggas that they say we are. We can be the people that they expect us to be, that they want us to be. We are not that, but that's what people would rather us be. They would rather us be down here. They don't want us to be up here. They don't want us to be dignified and have our heads up and live in honor and righteousness and have morals and say, nah, you can't sell drugs here, nigga. You got to get up out of here. I don't know where you're going to sell them drugs at, but you got to kick rocks, my nigga. You can't do that here. No, you can't walk the strip here half naked. You can't do that here. You can go somewhere else and do that. We got a standard here with our people. Oh, with your movie, let me see your movie. We're gonna preview it. Nah, that movie can't play in our theaters. That can play somewhere else. That movie is borderline pornography. You can't play it here. It won't be here. Can't make no money with us. That's what we need. CTZ, am I pro FBA? I'm pro truth. I don't know if you're a brother or a sister. I'm pro truth. But according to the definition, though, I am FBA because what FBA stands for, Foundational Black American, meaning a black person that came up in America. That's what FBA, to my knowledge, that's what it means. So according to the definition, I am, but I identify as an Israelite. I identify as a son of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And why do I identify like that? Is because I've done the research and I understand where we come from in West Africa and who our people are. Okay. So that's what I identify as. And I'm gonna get into FBA. Just hold on, lock in, because I'm gonna get into FBA. I'm gonna talk about FBA. I'm gonna ask some hard questions to the FBA community, to people who are now identifying, because that's a new phenomenon. I've been doing this for a long time, so it's it's interesting to see a switch in identity and in belief in who we are. You said, oh, this is the what about black on black crime stream? Black stream. What about black on black crime? Black on black crime, black on black crime. Have you ever heard of white on white crime? What about Asian on Asian crime? I'm fucking with you. But yeah, what about black on black crime? But I'm gonna drop this Tyler Perry thing, because like I said, we on a time constraint. Now there was a story I was gonna bring out. There's an older woman that is half naked. I think I'll save that for another time. And so I'm going to get to FBA, and then I have a Black Authentic Truth story, okay, that is going to bring everything around, and we'll even get a preset. We'll get a scripture, right? So, FBA, I hope the brother is still here. It's an old phenomenon. It's just bubbled back to the top as a talking point. I believe that too. I agree with you. FBA is an old phenomenon. The phenomenon is Black people questioning who they are and looking for an identity. You see, for a long time, for most of the time we've been here in America, we have had an identity crisis. We have searched for who we are, particularly in here in America. And we've, attempted to try to separate ourselves from America. We have attempted that many times. And a lot of the things we were categorized as or called came from Americans. Like at one point in time, we was called darky. One point in time, we was called a Negro. One point in time, we was called, black people. Then you had Afro-American. Then you had African-American. Recently, in the 2000s is FBA. In the 60s, brothers did the extensive research and found out that black people were actually the real Jews. I don't like to say Jew because I don't want people to confuse Jew with Jewish people. Those are not God's chosen people, but found out that we were the Israelites that came through the transatlantic slave trade. And people reject that, right? People reject the Bible. Most black people reject the idea, and that goes back to wanting to be righteous and wanting to have morals as a people. Because if you reject what the scriptures say, you can just be and live how you want to live. And I don't live how I want to live. I live how God says live. And because of that, I don't have to go through the things that I see my people go through, because I treat brothers and sisters righteously. I don't do drugs. I don't covet another man's woman. I don't steal. I'm not going to kill nobody. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. I gotta, and I'll get right back to it. I gotta hook this thing up. Y'all just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right. And we are back. We're back. I should have had that at the bottom the whole time. We're back. My apologies. Now, let me look at the comments. Yes, black people, Sherry Ash. Black people were in America before Columbus. Of course, there were dark-skinned people. You said the Ethiopian now. Now you're missing me with that. Oh, yeah. Beverly, you're right. They did call us colored people. We was called colored people. Let me respond to this real quick. Sister said the Ethiopian Bible is the original word of God. That is completely false. That is unequivocally false. Okay. Now, many people say the Ethiopian Bible is the oldest Bible, but did you know that the Israelites were not Ethiopian? In fact, Ethiopians warred with the Israelites. And even in the scripture, go look up, since you're bringing up the Bible, go look up Exodus 11:7. Okay. And it talks about how God made a difference between the Egyptians and the Israelites. The Ethiopians are not Israelites. Not at all, not in the least. So how could their Bible be the word of God? It can't. It's a contradiction. It's a glaring contradiction if you know the scriptures. Okay. And that's not to come down on you. That's just some education. Okay. You can research that on your own. Now, when it comes to now we getting back to FBA. Now, some of the things that are being said, and I I forgot my train of thought where I left off at. I apologize for that, but I think I was just talking about how we've been searching for our identity. Beverly basically said, I forgot to say colored people. That is another one of the things we would call. We would call colored people, right? And if you want to get real racist, we would call Pekingese. You know, there's some things that they would, you know, words they would say. And of course, we know the N word with the N word with the hard ER. Many people don't even know that Niger or Negro, it just meant black in ancient times. And the white man took that and, you know, made it a racial epithet against black people. But originally the word Niger or Negro just meant black. That's all it meant, you know. No, I don't. You know what? I don't know anything, and I thank you for that. I don't know anything. I don't know everything. I admit that, but I can say that you are definitely wrong on what you just said. The Ethiopians are not Israelites. In fact, if I could, I'll just get a scripture for you. Let me get a scripture for you. Did you know that even today, Ethiopians don't even say that they're black. They're on record saying they're not black. They don't identify, because Ethiopia is East Africa. They don't even identify. They say we're not like West Africans. We're not them. And that is true. It's true. But I'm just saying that for black people that claim that Ethiopians are, you know, the real people of God, that is not true. Black people in America are the real people of God. This is Zephaniah 2:12. It reads, ye Ethiopians also shall be slain by my sword. This is the Lord talking about the Ethiopians, saying he's going to put them to death. Reason being, the Ethiopians were against the Israelites. Now, people say that we are Ethiopians based on the fact that they say Queen of Sheba, who was Ethiopian, had a relationship with King David. But that's, you know, neither here or there. You know what I mean? That's neither here or there. But the fact of the matter is that God's people are Israelites. And so the whole world has conspired to keep this secret. Many people know this. You go to Russia just last year, Vladimir Putin went and opened up some old Russian icons showing you that Christ was black. So these black people that we think would just come from slavery have been all over the world, ruled the places in Europe for over 1,000 years. People don't really realize that. They got a show right now about Queen Charlotte, black woman that ruled in England, that ruled in Europe, and people don't really realize that. They don't understand. They think that white people have just been great for forever. But in the Renaissance period is when white people came into power, and when they started to use racism, and they started to paint over all of the black images of black people in Europe. But it was so many that many of them still survive to this day, which is, you know, that's the reason why we know these things. That's the reason why the truth is starting to come out. And that's the good part of social media, the World Wide Web, is that information can be dispersed across the world in real time. You said that the Ethiopians came to America before the Europeans. Do you have like a source or something that I could go research to show that it was Ethiopians that came? I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I need to see. The things that I talk about, I have thoroughly researched. Okay. There's plenty of evidence. You don't even have to. You can go online and pull up black people in Europe, in ancient Europe, in medieval Europe, wearing the coats of armor and all of that. You can pull up the Greeks being a dark-skinned race. I'm not saying that we were the Greeks, so I'm just saying you can pull up black people in Rome. You can literally, like, what we've been taught and we learn from American education is wholly a lie. Brother Beverly said, real talk, and the Messiah is part of the tribe of Judah. Yes, that's in the scripture. Christ says that he is from the tribe of Judah. Tribe of Judah was not Ethiopians. You know, God's people were never Ethiopians. We're just not. Though Ethiopians today, and the Ethiopians that you see today is really, they're mixed with Arabs halfway. But Ethiopia, I will say to their credit, is they're the only nation that was not colonized by the white man. I think the Italians came and tried to colonize the Ethiopians and they fought them off. So Ethiopia has never been colonized. And that's why when you look, I wouldn't say that, but when you look at Ethiopians, they hold on to a lot of their traditions, okay? Especially them dances. They do that little neck dance with that giraffe. I mean, but anyway. See, you just saying stuff that you heard now. You saying King James was a pure homosexual and his lover was Lord Buckingham of England. The King James Bible has his name. It's well documented that King James fought with the Catholic Church. And the reason why the Catholic Church put out said those things about King James is because King James, he hired, I believe it was 37 or 47 scholars. He hired Greek and Hebrew scholars to transliterate the Bible from the Greek and from the Hebrew into the old King's English. King James' name is on the Bible because he literally just got it translated. There's no other reason why his name is on the Bible. Because before that, only royalty, aristocrats could have the Bible, could get it. He made it available for common people to be able to have the scriptures. That's what King James did. And he fought the Roman Catholic Church over it. Okay. But anyway, I'm getting off the topic, y'all. Wouldn't y'all agree? So we're going to get into this FBA. So some of the things that FBA say is that, we're foundational Black Americans. We want to be recognized for the things that we have done on this continent. And we're not being recognized for that. And people are trying to take the credit for that. My question is, when did that happen? Because my whole life, all I've seen through Black history is Black people getting the credit for their accomplishments, for their innovations, and for the things that they have produced and made here in America. Like what people, we know that many slaves created things, but they didn't have the ability to patent it. And so the slave master was able to take it. We know that. So other than the slave master, who is trying to get the credit and take the credit from FBA? My whole life, if I've learned Black history, as a child, I was in Black History Bees. My daughter is going to be in a Black History Bee on the 28th. Shout out to Paris. Shout out to you. But I'm saying, like, I grew up learning about history, and I never seen where people were trying to take our history. And we were, I seen that we were very proud of our history. And so I asked a question, what is the difference between FBA and saying you're African American? Because African Americans, they fought for the same things. They wanted to be recognized for their history. In fact, Carter G. Woodson, the man that started Negro History Week, which now today is Black History Month, said that he was starting it to recognize the contributions of Black people. There's always been Black people that have remembered the contributions of Black people. So FBA, what in the are you talking about? What is your gripe? Now, let me just pivot real quick. I'm gonna go to Mexicans because I'm in Southern California. It's Black and brown over here. Now, this is Black Authentic Truth, and I bring out Black history. But I fuck with La Raza. I fuck with my brown brothers. If you don't like that, don't follow me. Don't even, you know what I'm saying? We grew up black and brown out here, and there are many brothers and sisters in Texas too, and in Northern California. We grew up black and brown out here. Now, what I will say is, when I hear black people talk about what happened with this Kamala thing, they say, "Oh, Mexicans voted for voted for Donald Trump. You know, they got what they getting what they deserve." And I say to myself, "You believe in voting?" So Kamala was going to be better than Barack Obama. Was Kamala going to be better than Barack Obama? Listen, I know that Barack Obama wasn't one of us. His wife was. I know he wasn't one of us. But you can arguably say that Barack Obama, it was one of the greatest presidents ever, one of the greatest speakers ever, orators ever. Put a lot of those other presidents to shame the way he spoke in his demeanor. Kamala was going to be better than Barack Obama? I don't think so. I don't think you could get better than Barack Obama. And guess what? Kamala wasn't black either. See, what I notice about FBA is that you guys, and this is not an attack. This goes for all black people. What I notice is a lot of y'all suffer from something called colorism. You suffer from the one drop rule. You suffer from the Willie Lynch colorism. Right? And the thing is, you use it to your advantage, but you know, when it fits you, you use it the other way to your advantage. So with Kamala, it's like, oh, she's black. And Kamala herself, one second, y'all, let me grab this real quick. Kamala herself, Kamala herself said, I think we're good now. Kamala herself basically said that I'm not black. There's a cooking show. I forgot the cooking show. There's a cooking show where she talks about she's cooking with an East Indian lady, and she says that she's East Indian. So we suffer from colorism because anybody with some type of pigment, we say they're black. Oh, of course, she made collard greens in a bathtub. I've never seen no black person make. My grandma used to make collard greens, clean collard greens in the sink. In a bathtub? Sounds like she was making some goop scoop. I'm going to get to that. I like that you brought that out. I like that you brought this out. Mexicans and white team up in jail together to beat up blacks. What black and brown unity are you talking about? Oh, I got a Black Authentic True story. Some good black unity. And let me tell you this. Are you from, where are you from? I'm not saying that to like get at you, but I'm from Southern California. I'm from the land of the gangbang. I'm from the home of gang banging, low riders. You know what I'm saying? All of that. Crips and Bloods, all of that. So I know it can be different, especially for people that are like, you move Midwest to the East Coast, their relationships with black. But I know being locked up, I've been locked up. I've been to prison. There's politics in prison. Politics that I didn't never even understand when I got locked up. Okay, brother, from Mississippi. Shout out to Mississippi. So when you look at Kamala, let me just go back and I'm gonna get to you, Keanu. When you go back to, when you look at Kamala, her ancestors, her father, he has some pigment, but you look at his father, he's white. The great grandfather, he was a slave owner in Jamaica. Okay, so you know, but let me get back to this brother. Like that's where you see that the racism that goes out into the streets. Like the politics in prison is where each group is to themselves and it's a separation. But in real life, I've been treated the most hospitable by Mexican people, not even by my own people. They'll welcome you into their home. They'll feed you. They'll look after you. We not like that. Now, I will say, okay, maybe when you go more southern and stuff like that, because I did when I was like in Kentucky, other places. I've been to a couple places, North Carolina, Texas. I've been in a couple places where, you know, it can be considered that Black people have that southern hospitality, right? But out here, Mexicans show love. The only place where you see where it's kind of racialized and racism with Mexicans and Blacks is when it comes to gangbanging. That's it. But you have people that will take that and use it online as oh, they don't like us. They don't, Mexicans don't love us. They don't mess with us. They hate us. Nigga, Black people hate Black people. Are we forgetting something? Black people hate Black people. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, it's kind of like you're like a slave. When it came to that Kamala thing, right? Let me move on. When it came to the Kamala thing, it's like, and then I've heard Black people literally say stuff that white supremacists say. Like they're illegal. They need to go back home and they're taking up all the resources. Nigga, what? Really? Oh, okay. So now you're like a glorified slave. That's your enemy. So Mexicans is FBA enemy, right? And then I heard that FBA don't deal with Caribbean people. I was like, what? Caribbean people? People from Jamaica? People from Haiti? The only difference that we have with those people is a boat stop. You can literally flip us around. Your forefathers landed here. They forefathers landed there. I mean, they landed here, you landed there. You could literally turn it around. It was a boat stop. And you saying these people ain't us? We want to get credit for our contributions. African Americans, Black Americans, FBAs, colored people have been trying to get recognition for their accomplishments, innovations, and inventions since the inception of America. That ain't nothing new. And like the person said earlier in the live, they said it's not nothing new. Yeah, it's not nothing new. But what is new is I'm hearing FBA say they're against Haiti, they're against Jamaicans. I've heard an FBA person say slavery never happened. I said, I would have never thought growing up that I would have ever heard a Black person say that slavery never happened. You don't know how insane that is. You have whole database with detailed manifests of where people left, where they went, the name of the boat, the year, the date, the gender, all of that. And you got Negroes on the internet. That's why I said, you know what? They need to have a test for you to even be on the internet. You're going to have to take an emotional maturity test. You're going to have to take a psychological test, a reading and comprehension test, and a drug test. Yeah, that's what they need to do for people to be online. Because some of the things people are saying, it's crazy. It's crazy. This is Black Authentic Truth. Africans, Caribbeans, and Hispanics spew hate against. What does that mean? Black people spew hate. Let me tell you something, brother. Let me highlight your comment. He says Africans, Caribbeans, and Hispanics spew hate against us, and people said nothing. Can you give me an example? Can you give me a public example of now? Do you have a personal example, or is there like a public example that we can all say, yeah, you're right. But let me tell you something, brother. Marcus, I can go online right now, and there is Black people talking negatively about Clarissa Shields. I can show you right now, there are Black people talking negatively about other black people, downing them, tearing them down about the way they look, the way they dress. That is minuscule in the big picture. Now, I'm glad you post this comment because I don't agree that we are Africans. And let me just talk about that a little bit. Before the internet, because I've been around some time, before the social media got popping, Africans, you know, people had this, you know, black people and Africans did not, black people felt some type of way about Africans. We felt how they acted around us, how they treated us, and how they really just stay to themselves. They deal with each other. They don't deal with black Americans when they come to America. So I agree on that point. That's where I can agree with FBA at. We not Africans. I can agree with that because you have a lot of black people that are Pan-African. You have a lot of black people that look at us as just because we come from Africa, we're all the same. And that's a topic for another time, but it is a miseducation. I think it needs to be a lot of study in that people need to study the fact that everybody that is dark-skinned are not the same. For some reason, when you get to Africa and black Americans, they think that we're the same simply because we came from the west coast of Africa. If we were the same, we wouldn't have got sold to the white man by the Africans. I'm gonna leave it at there. Leave it right there. Okay. You said they call us. Let's deal with this. You know, I actually got a Nigerian on camera saying, I'm asking him about the word akata, and he said he couldn't really verify it, but he did say that it was a negative term for black people. You say mayates and separate from us when they come here. Okay. You said mayates. You know, I'm not going to go into that, but exactly, we are not the same. They get the work environments and they get in these, once they get, they only hire. You said they get into the work environments and they hostile. I'm glad you talked about work too. You know what? Y'all really helping me with my topic in these comments. I appreciate it. Once they get to managerial positions, they only hire their own. Let me just tell you, I've worked in a lot of jobs. I've worked in carpentry. I worked in roofing. I worked in warehouse. I worked in hard jobs. I worked in, glass cutting warehouse. And I worked with Mexicans. Of course, I'm in Southern California. And Mexicans are some of the hardest working people. And I'm going to be real when it comes to that type of work. First of all, no, I'm just going to say this because you hear this a lot. They're taking all the resources. What job that black people want, what job that Mexicans have that black people want, they want to take? Let's have a real clear-cut, honest discussion. What job that Mexicans have that they possess that black people can't get, that black people saying, okay, I can do that job, but they won't give me the opportunity. Mind you, these are lower end jobs. These are the jobs nobody really wants to do. Show up to work late, don't even come to work, make all type of excuses not to be at work. What jobs that Mexicans do that black people or any other people don't want? I know white people don't want them, but I'm talking about gardening. I'm talking about warehouse. What job? I'm saying it out loud so you can hear how BS that is, to think that, oh, Mexicans are taking our jobs. We can't get a job. This is one of those situations where I say, nigga, stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. Because in my time of working, in 20 years of working in different jobs, if you want that job, you're going to get that job. And if you diligent and you a hard worker, you're going to keep that job. Like, all of this is just talk. Because in the real world, this is not the case. In the real world, people that want to work are lining up for work. And where I'm from, it just so happens to be Mexican people. I would think that if I went to Detroit, where that is a black city, I would think it would be black people. You know what I mean? We got to stop the cap. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Marcus, stop the cap. I'm telling you with love, brother. Stop the cap. You hate Mexicans. You're upset at Mexicans. You're not upset at the white man. Don't be a coward. Be mad. If you feel like, and this is not just to Marcus, this is to FBA, everybody. You feel like Mexicans taking your jobs, and you feel like they getting a head over you, or you feel like anybody is. We're not even talking about Mexicans. Let's just say we're talking about Africans, whoever. Your beef shouldn't be with them. Your beef should be with the person that's given a job. He's making a way to cut you out the deal. Your beef should be with your oppressor. But a lot of y'all are too afraid of your oppressor. You're too scared of your oppressor. And it's easier for a slave to be mad at another slave. It's easier for oppressed people to be mad at another oppressed person. That's the easy way. It's easy for a black person to hurt another black person and take their anger out on another black person because they wouldn't dare do that to a white person. It's easier for them to be tough, rough, pull out, drill and all that on their own people. They won't do that to the police that patrol their neighborhoods and abuse their authority. Black Authentic Truth is Black Authentic Truth, but it's also no excuses. Okay? No excuses. No excuses at all, right? Hey, you know what? NBA All-Star Ball's life. I will agree. I agree with that. But I guess because when you grow up around black and brown, you know the difference between a Spaniard and an indigenous person, an Indian. It's real easy. Sometimes it get greasy. You get a little, difficult. When that skin get a little light and them eyes get a little light, you be like, I got to see your father. Because just like with black people, you could have two dark-skinned parents and come out light-skinned. I'm a case in point. So it's not always like, oh, you got white in your family down the line. It's not always that. But black people that run off of that colorism, they're like, oh, yeah, you got some white in you. Down the line, you was the slave master did this down the line. And it's funny to me, what's funny to me? It was funny to me is this. It's like black people got to be mixed, but white people ain't mixed. White people are still white today in the South, in the North, in the East, in the West. But when it comes to black person being a little lighter, shade of brown, you got to be mixed. And they don't hold that same thing to white people, right? Which is crazy. Look, Marcus, brother, you seem like you got an issue. It seems like you probably it's your first time here. I run this program. I switch topics as many times as I want to. If you don't fuck with me, then just slide. I ain't gonna be mad at you. You posting 1,000 times a minute. Yeah, you is scared. You scared, bro. You scared. A lot of black people are scared, and it's okay. Leave it to the people that will say that the white man is the devil. Leave it to the people that will tell. I tell white people to their face they the devil in public. I do public speaking. You probably don't know I'm an Israelite. So Black Authentic Truth is just, this is for fun. This is for kicks. But my real profession is to go out and wake up my people. That's my real profession. And I'm a professional about it. I don't hurt nobody. I just say what the truth is. I say, listen, this is what you did. This is your ancestors. This is what you're still doing. Donald Trump is the devil. I don't have no fear to say what the truth is. And I know I direct the energy that I feel from oppression and stuff. I don't direct it at another oppressed group to feel like a glorified slave. I direct it to the people who put us in this position. You in your mind, you fighting for scraps. Oh, the immigrants are taking my resources. They're taking our jobs. Meanwhile, the devil done put you in that position. So who's the real winner out of that? Who's the real winner? Somebody talked about prison and how, it's politics and black and Mexican and whites are against each other. Who's the winner when everybody is going at each other? They can't focus on The real issue, the real problem, they can't focus. They're focused on each other. You know what I mean? But the question I pose is, who's your real enemy? FBA. It's not black people from Haiti. It's not Mexican people. It's not Jamaican people. And I'm sure everybody done said something slick about the other race. I'm sure Jamaicans done said something slick about black people. I'm sure Haitians done said something slick about black people. I'm sure black people have said something slick about everybody. But what does that really matter? These people ain't your real enemy. The difference is a boat stop, literally, through the transatlantic slave trade. And now you're here fighting each other when you have a true enemy. But it seems like you don't want to look at who the true enemy is. Another thing I was going to bring out about Black Americans, like, what's the difference between a Black American and an FBA? If I say I'm an African American and they say they're FBA and they say, well, we're doing things different, but we're fighting for reparations. Well, Black Americans been fighting for reparations since they got out of slavery. What's the difference? Then a name change. You know what this does? This really helps out Israelites' perspective in what we've been saying, is that our people are a lost sheep because our people are fighting for a new identity every 20, 30 years. Our people have an identity crisis. And we can keep up making up new identities. And I recently heard somebody say FBA can now mean foundational Black Americans. And somebody was like, yeah, that sounds better than foundational Black Africans. That sounds better than foundational Black Americans. I was like, damn. Like, this social media stuff is crazy, right? But we keep trying to reinvent ourselves. And that is not who we actually are. We got to go past America and go where we came from and look at look what we're doing culturally, look at the God, look at the language. Many Black people are saying slavery never happened. The slave trade didn't happen. We were already here. We're Native American Indians. Look at what the Native Indians, how they live. Look at the fringes on their garments. I'm sure that you didn't know that when they went to Cherokee country and they dug up the archaeology, they found ancient Hebrew writing. If you're claiming a people, you better know what their ancient language was, their origin story was, because many Native Indian tribes don't even say they are from America. They say they came from the East. You can go research this. All the way from South Central to America. They say we came from the East. In their origin story. Look at what the kind of food they eat. Look at their traditions. We can't just go on the color of a person's skin and say, oh, I see black Indians. We were here first. Yeah, we were here first. Slavery never happened. There was no slave ships. You got Black people that are literally searching. Go look at the Nat Geo documentary with Black men and women literally scuba diving, grabbing archaeology from slave ships. You sound very ignorant by saying that slavery never happened. And as a child, as a young boy learning Black history, I never would have thought when I got older, I would hear Black people saying slavery never happened. Like, damn, that's crazy. I got about 3 books here with narratives of slaves saying they came from Africa, their own words. And you got a Negro that can't do anything but smoke weed all day, that would fail a psychological test, a reading and comprehension test online, talking about slavery never happened. That's disrespectful to our people. Now, let me just set the record straight. Yeah, there were people here before the transatlantic slave trade, before Columbus came here. Yes, there were people here. But the bulk of Black people came through the transatlantic slave trade, majority going to the West Indies and then to America. All right. Now, I'm on a time crunch, y'all. I ain't going to even lie. I want to do this. I'm going to do this Black Authentic True story. Then we're going to get up out of here. Now, this story, if y'all could, just give me a second. Let me get a picture. I want to get a picture of, well, I'll just pull it up on the images search. I'll pull it up. I ain't going to take the time to like crop out a picture, but this story is about Black and brown people coming together to fight off the Spanish crown. Okay. Move this. Or maybe I can do it this way. Do it this way. Share the screen. All right. You know what? Let me just, okay, I'm gonna share the screen. And then I'm going to, because I said I was going to bring that out about the identity crisis that we have. Okay. There's some very important things that we should be worried about. We should be looking at that we don't look at. Okay. The number one thing is that I was on my mind is not just about Epstein Island, but about all of the missing Black women. Now, this was years ago, probably 10 years ago, that a thing came out that basically said there were 100,000 missing Black women without no trace. Okay. It's things like that that we should be thinking about, especially with this whole Epstein Island thing and the fact that people are being trafficked and they're being, sacrificed, and like these type of things that's coming out in the Epstein list. You wouldn't have thought, people would say that you are a conspiracy theorist if you was talking about it about 10 years ago, but we see that these things are actually happening. But there's a thing that is happening with our people is you see that there's a lot of missing, not just Black women today, but children, men, so on and so forth. And so we should be using our voices for stuff like that. Not these petty, real petty, meaningless beefs about, who we are, or somebody said something about us, they don't rock with us. Many times people don't even have a personal experience. It's just all online. Okay. It's not real life. But what is real life is what's going on with our people as far as them being missing, coming up missing. That is real life. It is really happening in real time. And nobody gives a damn. And everybody will rather talk about Cardi B and talk about, Clarissa Shields and talk about Jay-Z and talk about what's going on with celebrities than real issues that are affecting our people. And you take that and you roll that up in your blunt and smoke it, because that's the truth. That's a Black authentic truth. Okay. Now, I'm going to be reading. Okay. Okay. Let me get this precept real quick. I have to get this precept. This is we had Deuteronomy 4:5. Okay, 4 and 5. It says, "Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land where you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all of these things, these statutes, and they shall say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. If we had law, statutes, and commandments, if we had morals in our community, if we had a code of what we are not going to allow in our community, if we were keeping it and doing it in a righteous manner, these other people that see us, these other nations that see us, would say that we are a wise and understanding group of people as Black people or Black Americans, FBA, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call yourself, right? I'm not even tripping. I'm tripping off the fact that we don't look like a wise and understanding people. We look like a people that is full of drug dealers, full of whores, full of pimps, full of people that want to take advantage of each other. That's what we really look like to other people. And that's why they really dig in and try to make as much money as they can off of our trauma and off of our destruction. Because they see that we don't look like we are wise and understanding people. As a group, we just don't look like it. You know, we're not concerned with what's going on with our people missing and nothing like that. We're concerned with what the next celebrity is doing and what they love life look like. So that's something to think about. Now, let me get this Black Authentic Truth story. This is Gasper Yenga. Okay, I'm gonna read it. Okay. Known as the first liberator of the Americas, Gasper Yenga led one of colonial Mexico's first successful slave uprisings and would go on to establish one of America's earliest free Black settlements. He was a man who would be no person's slave. Rumored to be of royal lineage from West Africa, Yenga was an enslaved worker in the sugarcane plantations of Veracruz, Mexico. In 1570, he, along with a group of Maroon followers, escaped and then fled to the mountainous regions near Cordoba and established a settlement of former slaves and indigenous natives called Palenque. Palenque life was simple substance, farming, and religion that was heavily influenced by the Negro slaves. The location gave Yenga's group relative safety, and for 30 years served as a safe haven for escaped slaves. Given that the colony couldn't engage in commerce with other villages, Yenga's group targeted caravans on the Royal Road, which ran from Veracruz to Mexico. Taking the role of spiritual and military leader, he structured the agricultural community in an ordered capacity, allowing its growth and occupation of various locations, hiding out in New Spain's coastline highlands. The people of Yenga's settlements would strategically attack merchants and armed military alike with crude weapons. Perceived as dangerous to the colonial system of slavery through their daring actions against royal commerce and authority, New Spain called for the annihilation of Yenga's Palenque. Destroying the community, and its leader would send a message to other would-be rebellious slaves that Spain's authority over them was absolute. The Spanish couldn't beat Yenga, though. They tried. He was embarrassing the crown. In 1609, Spanish authorities sent a well-armed militia to defeat Yenga and his men. Yenga attempted to broker a treaty, but Spanish commander Pedro Gonzalez de Herrera refused the terms, and a bloody battle followed at the Rio Blanco. The Spanish burned down a primary Yenga settlement. Since most of the Maroons managed to escape into the woods, the battle was essentially a draw. The Spanish were stuck in a deadlock with the Maroons for years and agreed to meet with Yenga forces. Yenga offered to make peace, but with certain terms. The most important being recognition of the freedom of all of the Palenque's residents prior to 1607, the acknowledgement of the settlement as a legal entity which Yenga and his descendants would govern, and the prohibition of any Spanish in the community. Yenga in turn agreed to serve and pay tribute to the Spanish crown. After years of negotiations, in 1618, The town of San Lorenzo de los Negros was officially recognized by the Spanish authorities as a free black settlement. It would later be referred to as Yanga, named after its founder, Gaspar Yanga. This is the story of a warrior, a fighter, and a great leader, Gaspar Yanga. Okay. Now that's the story of Gaspar Yanga. Gaspar Yanga, black. He was considered to be royalty from Gabon, West Africa, which, crazy that when French explorers went there in the 1700s, they recognized that it was two different kind of black people. And one group had disdain for the other group. But he came from there into a plantation, escaped. He linked up with the indigenous natives of Veracruz, and they fought off the Spanish together. This is a black and brown story, right? This is a story I'm sure you never heard of. Well, many people have never heard of. And that is the point of bringing that Black Authentic Truth story to light. Because you see that the native peoples of Veracruz, which is central Mexico, which is in the Yucatan Peninsula, they couldn't defeat the Spaniards until the escaped slaves came and linked with them. Then they were able to defeat the Spanish crown and to live in peace for 40 years without any Spaniard. No Spaniard was allowed to even be in their town. That was one of the requirements. So yeah, that's right, Reginald. That's right. Let me drop this. Remove that. So with that, y'all, I appreciate everybody for rocking with me. I know a lot of people were, the comments was going crazy, and I was going back and forth with some people. So I appreciate everybody that rocked with me, stuck with me. And so I'll see y'all soon. I went early today because I'm being treated out today. I'm being treated out. I said I've never been to Universal Studios, and my rib said she was going to treat me out. So that's where I'm about to be headed, to Universal Studios, because I've never been there before. But anyway, I just appreciate brothers and sisters for rocking with me. I would say this, that when it comes to us as a group of people having pride, it's nothing wrong with that, or trying to distinguish ourselves, it's nothing wrong with that. We just have to do it correctly. We have to look at the history of who we really are. We can come up with as many names and call ourselves whatever we want to call ourselves, but until we actually find out our identity as a group of people, we will continue to be in this cycle of, making up a name and calling ourselves that, and never truly getting the recognition or having the confidence to look the oppressor in the eye and say, you know what? This whole time I've been looking at everybody else like they're the problem. I even been looking at my people like they're the problem. But now I know for certain you are the problem. With that, y'all, I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all later. This is Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth. Peace, y'all. All right.